Since I started using my soul as my navigational point, as my due north, I have not had that issue of people pleasing or of acquiescing to someone else because when I croak and I look at my life review, I really want to say, good job there. Good job listening to yourself as much as possible.
Hi, I'm Vicki Baird, and I have created my successful business by helping other people become successful in their own lives. This podcast, Intuition, Your Success Compass, is the tool you've been looking for to find your due north. We all have a soul and we all have an internal knowing. And in this podcast, you will learn to combine what your soul knows, your human self's brilliant intelligence, and the connection to the desire to live a life that is fully successful in whatever that definition is for you. Sound good? Good. Now let's get to it.
Hi, welcome back to Intuition, Your Success Compass. And if this is your first time being here, thank you so much for stopping by to see what is this about? Who is this chick? And what is she going to talk about? I am Vicki Baird. I have been an intuitive life and business coach for over 2 decades now and it's the best gig. It's the best gig for me. It may not be for everybody. And I am thoroughly enjoying bringing the podcast to YouTube and to be able to imagine seeing you sitting there. I've always recorded this from the premise that I am speaking to one person in particular, but also that one person represents millions of people because I really do believe that we're not all that different. We all want love. We all want to expand. We all have a soul that is communicating with us. We may not all hear it, and some may be completely oblivious to that thing is lined up and hooked up. But ultimately, I feel like all humans start out with this intention from the soul level to hone our skills, to evolve, to know love within ourselves, first and foremost, and then out towards all other sentient beings and energetic pathways and the beauty of this universe. So, in doing this podcast, my idea was to encourage that because sometimes it can really feel lonely to be the one who feels the energy of the trees, who feels that optimism of our soul and human spirits, and who is empathic and who is intuitively maxed out and not knowing what to do with it. And over the years, as I've learned how to navigate my own wiring, I've developed a system, and eventually that translated into getting certified in life coaching and then certified in some neuropathway work and always expanding into coming up with this idea and this system that I use in my own coaching that I'm going to talk about today, which is the success compass. Directionally, in this realm, if I have said it before, do not trust me to get you north, south, east, west in this physical realm. The good news is every time I've been seemingly misdirected or some would say lost, I've always made my way home, 100% accuracy. I'm right here talking to you to prove that. But it's not my forte. But this is why we have Google Map and everything, right? That's what I believe. But in the intuitive world and in putting the intuition and the soul level world in connection with the human, physical, here we are of this earth, my compass is extremely accurate. And it has all the varying degrees between north, south, west, east. We are going to talk about more of what is success compass coaching and what does that mean. And then what do the directions mean to me? Because they're going to mean something different to anyone who uses a compass reference in their work. But through all the years, I have traveled away from this idea. I have ignored it completely. I have thought there must be other ways, new and fancy ways of describing intuitive coaching. And it always comes back. I always get directed back to this idea that we want a solidness in our human self while listening to the direction from our soul that has lived so many lifetimes. Why wouldn't we listen to it? So when I talk about success compass coaching, I talk about my experience over the years of working with people because I don't want to be your compass. I want you to be your compass. I want you to use your own soul as its compass. I do not want to be anybody's guru. I want everyone walking around with their own unique compass. And what does that look like? And how does it work? And are you someone who, follows the compass from their gut? Do you follow it from your heart? Is it up here? Is it a combination of all of them? The more you get to know yourself, the more you will be able to use your compass in a more effective way. So when I'm working with people, it's important for me to know what guides them. Is it your heart? Is it your head? Is it your gut? Is it your experiential hands-on? All of them, all of these directions are beautiful. We just need to know what's your magic wiring. So let's talk about the directions. When I talk about tapping into your compass and using it, I also believe that we have to get to know it because I don't know about you, but no one handed me a booklet and said, Vicki, here's your specific manual for how you are wired, what you're bringing to this world, and then what your soul wants to accomplish. Now, I know what my soul wants to accomplish. And when I meet with someone, I know what the soul wants to help the human self learn, but we still have to work with it. So the very first part I go to is the north. And yes, it's about connecting in with your due north. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before, but mostly it's about feeling that connectivity with your eternal soul because everyone has one. Every soul is based in love. It's a little convoluted and sometimes really screwed up in the human realm. But every soul has its own North Star that it's looking to connect to. So when I talk about the North, I see it as navigational. I see it as that place of direction that has to be lined up and has to be connected in order for the other directions to work. So when I think of where am I going in my many lifetimes, not just this one, I want to access that information that's already been here before. Now, I also want not repeat patterns. So I want to see myself and to know what is it that would best serve my eternal soul and to learn those things now. So that's why it's navigational, right? It's going to give us the direction in which to head. I think if we nourish the North, there's going to be a lot of alliteration here because I love it. I love analogies. I love acronyms, all those A words. So when we're nourishing the connection with our soul, navigation is so much easier. It's like, boing, there's the magnet, here's the magnet. Let's just line them up. Okay. Does that make sense? So if you're listening to and learning how to assess and connect with your own soul, what do you like in this lifetime? And I'm going to do a whole series. Each direction is going to get its own podcast episode because there's so much that you can use in this. And then I'll give you exercises on how to enhance each direction, but also to know which direction is the best to use right. So for right now, I'm just going to describe them though. So the North, when we're thinking about setting clear goals or intentions of what we would like to accomplish in this lifetime, intentions of knowing our own inner voice, the North is where you go because you uh, accessing that multiple level of volumes of information, in that Akashic records and in the traveling that you've done, the relationships that you've had. So when we think of North, I think of developing a plan and how are we going to mm, articulate this plan? Are we going to draw it? Are we going to do a vision board? Are we going to write it out? Are we going to design a map that helps us to begin this process? Um, and in order to do this, it's important to hear who you are. And you might not hear it inside your head. You may hear it in your heart. You may hear it you may hear it in a knowing, so more of a claircognizant way. So none of this is clear cut right out of the gate. And that's why I decided I need a system. I need something that helps me as the coach guide others until they can use their own method of divination, their own method of navigation. So when you're in the North and you come back to the North, it will help you to stay on track and remain focused. For me, the idea of being true to my soul keeps me from wandering into gossip. It keeps me from wandering into agreeing to do things that are not in alignment with me. The human part of me may want to participate and it may want to give in to the idea that the other person wants this, so I should do it. But since I started using my soul as my navigational point, as my due north, I have not had that issue of people pleasing or of acquiescing to someone else because when I croak and I look at my life review, I really want to say, good job, Beck. Good job listening to yourself as much as possible. Sometimes that's not going to be effective in the moment and you pause and you assess and then you come back and figure out what your due north is. So if you can think of your north and your compass as your navigation, what coordinates are we going to put in? If you're traveling somewhere, have to give the GPS program your coordinates. Where would you like to be? So if you hear that noise in the background, I'm not going to have it edited out. That is the lovely calico cat. I would spin it, but you'll get dizzy. That we call Ubsy. And she snores like I don't even know, a bear? It's amazing what comes out of this 11-pound cat. But we're going to leave it because I think it's adorable. I've woken her up twice to ask her to stop before I started recording, and she complied because Upsy is her own woman. See? Okay. Next, we're going to go to the West, which for me is wiring. The West is where we've come from. Okay, so not only in other lifetimes, but in this lifetime as well. From whence we come, where have we been before? What installed that wiring? The wiring that's included here is the wiring that you come in with from a soul level. Okay, we all come in with brilliance. We all come in with a certain skill set, and we all come in with an intention to learn. And your wiring is wound through that from all of your previous life experiences. So when I think of West, I think of the wiring. I think of the understanding one's personal strengths, the weaknesses, what are your values, what inspires you, what motivates you to get moving. Becoming more aware of your personality traits, but also, and this is imperative, becoming aware of the messages that were given to you by society, by parents, by teachers, by partners, by whatever else is there, your own experiences, the own conversations you have in your head. So when I think of wiring, I want to understand it first and foremost. I want to connect the dots to, oh, this is why I behave in this way. And oh, that's why that triggered me. And then I want to clear out the old wiring. And then I want to create new wiring. So this is the conscious circuitry, the neural pathway work that I do. It's not necessary to suffer with our wiring. You can change it up and pretty easily and pretty effectively. So the training that I did helped me to learn it on more of a solid earth-based level. And I took it that next level with intuition and with soul connectiveness. And that's why we get conscious circuitry, because we have circuitry that's already there. There's no denying that. You learn to appreciate it, but you also learn when the wiring is maybe stopping you or short circuiting you and not helping you. So you change it. So in the West, we look at wiring. We look at how can I build better communication skills? What is it that I need to do to understand my wiring so that I can work more efficiently, so that I can have more fun, so that I can achieve a greater success in who I am? And I want this for everybody. So by combining the conscious circuitry in with the wiring aspect, the West, it helps, I think, alleviate blame by saying, oh, that's where I've come from. This is what's happened to me. And that's what I need to do in order to shift it. Maybe I need to see a therapist. Maybe I want to do some conscious circuitry. Maybe I'm going to do some NLP work. Maybe I'm going to do some tapping. Maybe I'm going to sit down and say, I freaking rock. And my wiring is amazing. How I think all of those would be lovely, actually. Just do them all. It can help you build a stronger relationship with yourself, which is then going to help you create the relationships in your life that are more fulfilling, including with nature, including with spirits. Okay. So all of these directions are going to work together.
So, are you ready to invest in yourself and level up your personal, professional, and spiritual life? Yeah, I thought so. That's why I created these empowering worksheet bundles. Right now, there are 4 and more that you can take advantage of over at the shop. One is overcoming anxiety, or at least quiet down a little bit, define your client avatar, getting to know me, and achieving work success. I created these empowering worksheets so you can learn practical techniques to understand your anxiety, to shift it, to define your ideal client, to understand, gain clarity on your strengths and your goals, and to achieve success in all areas of your life. And whatever success means to you, you'll have the tools you need to get started. And then you can build on that with the other bundles that are in the collection at vickibaird.com.
Next one we'll talk about is the self. In your self direction, for me, think solid. Right? Here's the alliteration. In South, we're solid. We're in our human self. We need to appreciate it. We need to love the fact that we have a body and that I'm solid and it needs things. It needs to move. It needs water. It needs good nutrition. It needs to be grounded. So get those little tootsies in the grass and feel the earth. Get so sure, because the more grounded you are in the South, think of the compass, north and south, right? The point, the more grounded you are, the higher you can go. If you work with energy and in intuitive development and you are not grounded, this, your physical brain is going to go offline. It's going to bring in and experience more anxiety. You could end up a little flinky, a little disconnected, or that's why when we meet somebody and they're not, it seems like they're not in their body, we say they're ungrounded or disconnected, flighty, can't focus. Like when I'm having a day like that where I just can't get it together, I'm like, Vicki, south, drop into the south, feel that south node and the solidness that comes from being in the south, because that is going to help you pay attention. It's going to help you listen to your body, your emotions, your thoughts. This is an amazing vessel that we have. And we hear so much about, oh, my thighs this, my stomach this, or I'm not smart enough. This is a gift, this vessel we have. So there can be things that you may want to enhance. Fantastic. But we need to start cultivating a sense of surety within ourselves, because then the rest of the chaos that's going on won't knock us off as much. And that comes from dropping into the south. That comes from wanting clarity in order to make the decisions that will help us create a life that we really want to have. It will help you feel more centered, more calm, in control of your life. And yes, in the coming episodes, I'll be giving all kinds of ways to achieve this, things that have worked very successfully for myself and for the clients that I've served, because, you don't want to have a success compass and not have any success behind it. Be poor marketing, wouldn't it? Okay, so in the South, if you can think of, I want to be solid in myself. I want to feel good no matter where I go. And yes, life is going to create some undulation. That's okay. That's experience. It would be boring otherwise, right? So we can use the South and the groundedness to help us access the West and the wiring, because when you feel more sure, you feel more secure, that it's okay to go into emotions. It's okay to explore what's been hurting me that I didn't want to look at before. Okay. And then you're willing to tap into the north and say, what direction is it that I require here? And sometimes you get that little message, recalculating, finding a direction. That would be, perhaps pausing and taking some time because you need to center it and be in the south again. Okay. So our final direction, and yes, I know there's northeast, southeast, all those. That's making it too complicated. Keep it simple, sweetheart. So when we're looking at the eastern direction, this is one of my favorites, actually. I love them all for their different reasons, but to be in the east, and not just because I live in the northeast, but east is about engaging. It's about elevating everything that we've done in the other three directions. East is about forward movement. It is about taking action when you set a clear direction in the north and you understand your personal wiring from the west and you feel grounded in your physical self and you're all that, then you can elevate your action and your actions will take hold. They don't just become wishes or dreams or that thing that you want to do. They become the thing you are doing. Often people will say in coaching, I am going to, I will try. And do not, even though one of my clients called me Yoda for years, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is there is no try. I believe there is try. We try over and over and over again. But at some point we say, okay, I am focused in what I'm doing and I'm willing to elevate this into an action because I don't believe there's failure. With the exception of not getting up, like I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. Yeah, we could see that as failure. But if you're looking for ways in order to move forward and to take action, you are succeeding. Friend, you are. I wanted to call you my buddy, so I'm going to call you my buddy. Um, because who doesn't want a buddy? So fun. Um, the East direction is exciting to me because it means developing and implementing a plan. I love my systems. I love a plan because when we have that plan, we are solid again, right? It goes back to the South. When you have a plan, you feel secure in yourself. And you might not know exactly how to implement that plan, but you will believe in yourself enough to take the next step, those micro movements and the next step. So by implementing a plan and setting achievable goals, do not do the great big pie in the sky one as your first step. Take those small steps. You then build a momentum to your desired outcome. And then you feel fulfilled, a sense of purpose. You know how everybody's always say, "What's my purpose, Vicki?" I'm like, well, to like yourself, to feel fulfilled in what you're achieving, what you're doing. This morning, I made a waffle out of an egg and protein powder. Those are the only two ingredients, and it was phenomenal. I started, well, that was about 11 o'clock, but that kicked me off into a success place. I'm like, this thing rocks. So I feel fulfilled that I've already accomplished something. It's like making your bed. You feel like you've accomplished something. And that's what leads to achievement. That's what leads to success. And that's what leads to self-love. And so when we put all of these directions together and you've got your soul aligned with your human self and you've got your wiring supporting your direction and your outcomes and your action, you're just so phenomenal. Will be so lit up. It won't matter what the subject is. If you're experimenting with a new recipe, if you're planting a garden, if you're defending your thesis, if you're asking someone out, if you're hiking by yourself for the first time, do not underestimate how challenging and scary that can be, especially without a sense of direction. Again, I have always found my way out of the woods. And sometimes I surprise myself. Sometimes if I'm the one who has to be the one to determine the direction, meaning we've gotten turned around and the other person lesser skilled in this department, oh man, I will find my way out because it dawns on me, Vicki, you have intuition. Which way would you want to go? So using all of these directions together, you get to be the expert of your compass. You get to design your compass. Maybe it has bling on it. Maybe it's very streamlined. Maybe it's rainbow colored. Maybe it has the colors of earth. It doesn't matter. You get to decide what that is. So as you elevate yourself, you begin to evolve. And by evolving, you in this physical lifetime, you contribute to your soul's evolvement. So when you're grounded in yourself and you're working your plan and you understand the wiring that you had installed, but is maybe not supporting you any longer, you move forward. And then you get to be in what I believe the human experience was meant to be, which was joyful, which was feeling all of the emotions and experiencing it and loving the fact that we even get to do it. So this is why I get so excited about coaching. And this is why my clients have success, because we don't just talk about moving forward in business or meeting that special someone. We talk about you, and we talk about how each person wants to and needs to feel empowered within themselves. And then we throw this simple system on, and it helps to align when things feel a little wonky in your world or a little thrown off kilter. We all have those days. Yesterday was my day. I was supposed to record podcasts yesterday, and it wasn't happening because I wouldn't have brought you the energy that I want to bring with these. because I was a sad sack. And it was okay because it was energy moving through and a process that was happening. And when I do the West episode, I'll explain what that is or was. And it allowed me to show up today by using these. I use these every day in my life because as energy beings, we can be pulled off our axis pretty easily. And I want to give you as much as I can to help you stay. Tilted, sometimes straight up, sometimes spinning around. You got it all. So that's what we have for right now. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed learning about Success Compass coaching and how it can help you navigate your life and create with purpose and intention, joy, love, fun, coffee. So thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, you know the deal, and leave a review. That would really warm my heart to read those and to know how you enjoyed this episode. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I appreciate you being here. If you would like more information about developing your intuitive skills, removing those blocks, and creating the life that feels the most successful to you, then head on over to VickiBaird.com. That's VICKIBAIRD.com. And check out the courses, the groups, and the Spaces app that will allow you to be part of our community and know about upcoming events and specials. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.